Hello viewers, welcome to my channel Pharmacypedia. In this session, we are going to discuss about the very important test of evaluation of tablets, that is the disintegration test. Disintegration test is one of the most important tests to be considered for the evaluation of the tablets. So as per pharmacopoeia, when we try to classify the tablets are classified as following. As per the pharmacopoeia, for different categories, there are different specifications which are being mentioned for the disintegration test. For example, uncoated tablets, film coated tablets, enteric coated tablets, dispersible tablets, modified release tablets, soluble tablets, effervescent tablets, tablets to be used in the mouth, for example, chewable tablets, lozenges, sublingual tablets, then orodispersible tablets. So, why we are discussing the classification of the tablets here is that when we try to understand the disintegration process, different pharmacopoeia, United States pharmacopoeia, British pharmacopoeia, Indian pharmacopoeia have specified different limits for the different sets of the tablet. It can be clearly understood since these tablets have different sorts of the coating, so it would definitely impact the disintegration process. Therefore, different pharmacopoeias have segregated the tablets and they have set up the limits and criteria that needs to be passed for different sets of the tablets. So let us first try to understand the disintegration process. Disintegration process simply means a process whereby a tablet disintegrates first into the granules, then into the soluble particles, which reaches into the systemic circulation. So basically disintegration test is to simulate what is happening inside the body system. Disintegration test is an in vitro test which is being conducted to mimic how the tablet is behaving inside the body system. When we take the tablet, it reaches to the stomach whereby it gets disintegrated into granules, or like it gets solubilized into smaller particles which are then absorbed. Same sort of the simulation is actually performed in vitro analysis. In vitro simply means outside the body analysis, so that we can analyze how the tablets are behaving inside the system. For any drug to be absorbed properly, it needs to be disintegrated first, then it needs to be solubilized, and then only it enters the systemic circulation. So this disintegration apparatus is a condition, is to check that state in which no residues of the unit should remain inside the test system. If no residues are remaining on the system, it simply means that the tablet has completely disintegrated and it will be absorbed very well. So disintegration is basically defined as that state in which no residues of the unit under the test remains on the screen of the apparatus, or if any residue remains, it consists only of the fragments of the disintegrated parts of the capsule components parts, such as insoluble coatings of the capsule shells, or of any melted fatty substances from the pessaries or suppositories, or it is a soft mass with no palpable core. So you can see a disintegration apparatus over here. The temperature is being maintained. The vessel media has to be considered. There is an arm. There are 6 cabinets, 6 test tubes on in which a single tablet has to be placed for doing the first round of the disintegration. Then the overall setup is immersed in the water. The tablet, the disintegration apparatus basically moves up and down movement to mimic the condition it actually behaves when it goes inside the body system. So, what are the things to be considered here? What are the important things to be considered here? First is the temperature conditions, the medium of the in which we have to carry out the disintegration. We have to understand the assembly. We have to understand how many cycles it needs to go up and down to have the uniform sort of the things. Since disintegration is basically a quality control parameters, disintegration criteria and limits are being set. So any type of the tablet have to lie within the limits. If it does not comes into the limit, it simply says that it is not passing the test. So for quality control parameter, this is again a very important test for the tablets to be evaluated. So let us try to understand the disintegration process through this flow chart. When a tablet is taken inside the body system, it gets disintegrated first into granules, then into finer small particles. So when these particles get solubilized, you get the drug is actually absorbed and it comes into the solution form. So disintegration is different from the dissolution. In disintegration, we are basically considering the tablet disintegration and reaching of the drug in the solution form. It is not having any implication. In dissolution, drug from the solution reaches the systemic circulation. So it is basically the measurement of the drug in the solution which have been achieved by the disintegration process, and it reaches to the systemic circulation. So you must be clear, the criteria over here of checking of the tablet is that the tablet has been disintegrated very well and it has reached into the solution form. Now, in this disintegration test, the first important step towards the drug dissolution is the breakdown of the tablets into the granules or fine primary powder particles, which is known as the disintegration process. So, all USP tablets must pass a test for the disintegration. Now, this is conducted in vitro test because it is being carried out outside the body and using this apparatus. Now, the apparatus is very simple. It is a basket rack assembly which has actually 6 open-ended transparent tubes of having the USP specified dimensions. So why they are being fixed to a certain dimensions? Because we need to check every tablets, we need to compare the tablet disintegration test. So we have to keep every other parameter constant. We will be actually measuring the disintegration time taken by the tablet. So the whole setup assembly remains the constant except except the other 3 variables which we shall be discussing. So now a disintegration apparatus also contains a mesh which is a 10 mesh stainless steel wire screen. Now the drug, once tablets are being added up and they need to go inside the solution after crossing this mesh. So the mesh size, very important to note here, is the mesh 10 size. So during a testing, a tablet is placed in each of the 6 tubes of that basket, and through the use of the mechanical device, the basket is raised up and down. And the medium, for example, it may be water, it may be simulated gastric fluid, it may be simulated intestinal fluid, whatever official monograph prescribes for the testing of the tablets, that medium will be taken, and it has to be considered for a minimum cycle run of 29 to 32 cycles per minute. This is the USP criteria. So minimum of the runs up and down movement should be 29 to 32 cycles per minute. So wire skin always below the level of the fluid. For most normal release tablets, the time permitted is 15 minutes. So here when we say about the uncoated tablet, mostly it is 15 minutes. So the USP says that the tablet should be able to disintegrate into 15 minutes. Now few questions are being raised in different types of examination. For example, what are the cycles per minute? So you have to memorize these points in your mind, like 29 to 32 cycles per minute. What is the mesh size? It is 10 mesh size. What are the permitted time limits? That we shall be discussing in detail in further slides. So like tablets are said to have disintegrated only if there are no fragments remaining on the screen, or if particles remain, they are so soft without any unwetted core. So chewable tablets are not required to comply with these tablets, that we shall be discussing. So enteric coated tablets, chewable tablets do not have to comply with this 15 minutes criteria. There is a separate protocol that needs to be followed for them. Now the important thing to be noted down here is that if the disc have been used with the capsules, any residues remaining on the lower surfaces of the disc consist only of the fragment of the shells. So what happens is that as compared to the tablets, capsules have a shell. So this shell is not easy to be disintegrated. Tablets are easy to have been disintegrated. So like for the capsules, there are other criteria that if any sort of the residues remain, it should not have any palpable cores, or like it should be only consisting of the shells fragments. So as now one thing very important to be noted down here is that different pharmacopoeia define different strokes, that is the up and down movement per minute that should be conducted by the disintegration apparatus. So any disintegration apparatus having strokes, that is up and down movement per minute of about 28 to 32 cycles, would be as per the Indian Pharmacopoeia. So Indian Pharmacopoeia clearly specifies that the per minute movement of the stroke should be within 28 to 32 cycles, whereas the BPs and USP specifies the limit from 29 to 32. So these questions are generally being asked in the competitive examinations, that what is the criteria as per IP for the number of the strokes. So that should be within 28 to 32 cycles, and as per British Pharmacopoeia or United States Pharmacopoeia, it should lie within 29 to 32 cycles. Now let us try to understand the limits which have been specified by the different pharmacopoeia. First, I am starting with the Indian Pharmacopoeia. So for Indian Pharmacopoeia, it clearly says for the different types of limits, they have specified the different time limits. For example, for the uncoated tablets, it should be disintegrated within 15 minutes. And the medium is the water, and temperature set is 37 degrees Celsius. So in most of the cases, you will find that the temperature, you have to try to understand three things. First is the time limit, second is the medium, and third is the temperature. So whenever you will be doing disintegration test, you have to check for in the official monographs, in the pharmacopoeias, for three things: medium, time limit, and temperature. So for uncoated tablets, the limit which have been specified is not more than 15 minutes in water with disk at 37 degrees Celsius. With disk means above the mesh there is a disk which is being applied so that the tablet does not move out of the test tube. So it remains immersed in the fluids. Then for the coated tablet, the time which has been specified is not more than 30 minutes with the disk for the film coated tablets, and not more than 60 minutes for other than the film coated. So if the tablet is having very thin film coating, then the time limit, it should be able to disintegrate within 30 minutes, or if it is having other than the film coating, the time permitted is 60 minutes. For anteric coated tablets, it should remain intact for 1 hour in the 0.1 normal hydrochloric acid, that is simulated gastric fluid, and disintegrate within 22 hours in the mixed intestinal fluid. So you can see the criteria. For dispersible, it is within 3 minutes at 25 degrees Celsius. For orodispersible tablet, they should be able to disintegrate within 1 minute. For effervescent tablets, it is 5 minutes in 250 ml of water at 20 to 30 degrees Celsius, and 5 minutes in 200 ml at 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. For buccal and the sublingual tablets, the limits are not applicable, but they should be able to dissolve within 15 to 30 minutes. So this is the criteria which has been set up for the different types of the tablet. You need to memorize the time limits, the medium, and the temperature conditions. So as I've mentioned, the mesh size used is number 10. The cycles permitted is 28 to 32 cycles per minute, and 50 to 60 mm distance from bottom and top. The temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Now, what is the acceptance criteria? The acceptance criteria is that if in one go we take 6 tablets in the initial, if 1 or 2 tablets or capsules fail to disintegrate, suppose there is a condition that you have taken 6 tablets and out of that you find that 1 or 2 tablets have not disintegrated, then you need to repeat the test on 12 additional tablets or capsules. So in the first go we have taken 6. Out of this, if all of them disintegrate, you pass the test. If 1 or 2 tablets are not able to disintegrate, you need to undertake the test for a next set of the 12 tablets. Now out of this, the final acceptance criteria is that 16 out of the total 18 tablets should disintegrate. So only 2 are allowed to be variated. If it is more than 2, it will be failing the test. If it is below 2 or 2, it would be passing the test. So out of total overall 18, Pharmacopoeia says that if 16 tablets are able to disintegrate, that means you are passing the test as per Indian Pharmacopoeia. Next, we move on to the British Pharmacopoeia. So again, like I have told, for different sorts of the tablet, British Pharmacopoeia has also specified the different sorts of the medium and the temperature conditions, and with the time limit. So these three, the medium, temperature, and limits, have to be memorized. For example, for the uncoated tablets, the time limit permitted is 15 minutes, or as per individual monograph. Medium may be water or any buffer, may be simulated gastric fluid, simulated intestinal fluid, depending on the medium mentioned in the individual monograph. You might notice here is that the most of the time we are making the temperature condition at 37 degrees Celsius, but in certain type of the tablet there are exceptions. For example, in British Pharmacopoeia, when we talk about, you can notice the red color marked over here. For the dispersible tablet, the temperature is 20 degrees Celsius and the time limit is 3 minutes or as per individual monograph. And for the effervescent tablet, the temperature specified is again 20 degrees Celsius and time limit is 5 minutes. So I would suggest here is that you make exceptions clear, so that if any sort of the questions are being asked in the competitive exams, you are clear about it. Next, we move on to the United States Pharmacopoeia limits and specifications. So again, you may notice that the temperature which has been suggested for the different sorts of the tablets as per the United States Pharmacopoeia is that 37 degrees Celsius. Now, when we talk about the uncoated tablets, again the medium may be water or as specified in the individual monograph, and the limit as specified in the individual monograph. So here it does not mention actually about the time limits. They clearly say that for the disintegration test, the individual monograph needs to be referred for the medium and the time limit. So USP does not give out that clear-cut time limits. It simply says to follow the official monographs. So one thing to be noted down here is that most of the temperature is 37 degrees Celsius for most of the tablets. If one or two tablets fail to disintegrate completely, again the test has to be repeated for 12 additional tablets, and not less than 16 of the total 18 tablets should disintegrate completely. So again the criteria in all the pharmacopoeias for the acceptance remains the same. Now let us try to understand what are the factors which may actually impact the disintegration test. So again, the disintegration again remains a very important test for any formulator in the preparation of an optimum tablet formula, and is a very important criteria to be considered to ensure the batch to batch uniformity. The red color thing, you can see the disc over here which actually keep the tablet immersed. So when up and down movement takes place, the tablet does not go, it remains intact inside the medium. So the factors that needs to be considered and that actually impacts the disintegration process is the medium, the temperature conditions, the nature of the drug, but it is acidic drug, basic drug, the diluent which is being used in the formulation, type and concentration of the binder used, how much the tablet is binded. If it is having more binder, the tablet will be difficult to disintegrate. The type and amount of the disintegrant. So if the concentration of disintegrant is more, the tablet would be disintegrated faster. If the concentration is less, the tablet would take time to disintegrate. The presence of excess lubricants and overly mixed lubricants and compression force used during the manufacturing of the tablet. Now for enteric coated tablets, since you can understand the purpose of enteric coated tablet is that they release the active therapeutic ingredient into the intestine. So they need to remain and intact their properties in the gastric fluid. So they have the different sets of the criteria which is being mentioned in the pharmacopoeias for both that you need to follow. So if a tablet having soluble external sugar coatings and which is immersed in water at room temperature for 5 minutes. So before beginning the test, they are being immersed in water for 5 minutes. Then each tablets are being put up in the tube and they are suspended in the beaker containing hydrochloric acid and operated without disc for 2 hours as per Indian Pharmacopoeia and PP, and 1 hour as per USP, unless otherwise stated in the individual monograph. So you can see, so there is a before operation for enteric coated tablets. Then the removed assembly is being removed out. No tablet should show any sign of the cracks that would allow the escape of the contents or disintegration. Now again it is being the medium is changed from hydrochloric acid to the mixed phosphate buffer pH 6.8, and the operation is again stated. So and the operation is again operated for 60 minutes. So now again the assembly is being removed. The acceptance criteria is that if the tablet fails to comply because of the adherence to like this, the test has to be repeated on further 6 tablets without the disc. So the important thing to be noted over here is that discs are not to be used for the enteric coated tablets. The tablet passed the test if all the 6 have disintegrated. Now the points to be remembered over here is that the ultimate criteria of all the pharmacopoeia remains the same. If 1 or 2 tablets or capsules fails to disintegrate, the test has to be repeated on additional 12 tablets or capsules, and out of total 18, not less than 16 should disintegrate. So not less than 16 of the total 18 tablets or capsules should be disintegrated. So only 2 are permitted if they don't disintegrate. If more than 2 happens, that it simply means the test is failing. In that case, you need to reformulate your formula for the tablets. So if the tablets or capsules adhere to the disc and the preparation under evaluation fails to comply, the test has to be repeated use omitting the discs. So the preparation complies the test if all the tablets or capsules in the repeat disc test disintegrate. So this is the acceptance criteria. I hope you are clear about all the specification, limits, mediums, and all the finer details about the disintegration test. You need to memorize all the limits, mediums, and the temperature condition for each type of the tablets to be considered for the disintegration system. Apart from that, you need to understand the assembly, the positioning of the tablets, the mesh size, the strokes per minute for each type of the pharmacopoeia. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please do like, share and subscribe to Pharmacypedia if you are visiting my channel for the first time. Thank you so much.